Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick, and on the channel, njenkin, it's time for a look back over the last 4 weeks to a month to see what are my favourite 6 games we've looked at out of all the things we've had a look. And we look at the quality of the game, the graphics, the sound, the era it was made, and a lot of things go in there. And it's one of those things, it's very subjective, you may agree, you may not agree, and if I did this video in about an hour's time, things would probably be in a different order. It's quite hot today, it's Bank Holiday Monday. Normally on Bank Holiday Monday in the UK it rains, but today it's hot, it gives me a chance to wear this fake straw hat. So if you're in the UK or outside the UK, I hope you're having a good time, and if you've got the day off, hooray! So before I come to these top 6, we've had a look at a couple of pinball tables, Pinball FX3 on the PlayStation 4, although they do look very similar on Steam if you want to get them on the PC or the Xbox One on that platform. First one we looked at was The Last Jedi, published by Zen Studios in 2018, and of course based on the film from 2017, was it? Yes, The Last Jedi. It didn't go down very well with the fans, this one, but I think these films are starting to base it on a new audience rather than the people that have grown up with it. But what about the table itself? It's not bad, but I felt I wanted a bit more. There's a few good modes which are based in the cutscenes which follow the plot of the film, ludicrous as it was. It's not bad, but I think it could have been a little bit better. It's Star Wars, if you're into Star Wars, which I am, even though it's not as good as the original 3 if you ask me. It's okay. And the other table, which I liked a lot more, which is Acto Island, which focuses on the film, the training between Rey and Luke Skywalker on that island he goes and hides on. There's different modes involving Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker himself, and Rey. Lots of mini games. The Porgs are there on that island, which in the film were puffins, and they couldn't get rid of them. They wouldn't go on holiday, so they had to CGI and make them into a Porg. Very atmospheric, this second table, very organic, and out of the two, this is by far my favourite one. Need a lot more practice. It's got day and night cycles. You can see the sea either side around the island, and the Millennium Falcon, which I think might jump in one of the modes. Now, before I come to the top 6, 3 notable mentions that didn't make the top 6 that might very well make your top 6. There was on the Commodore Amiga, Fantasy World Dizzy by Codemasters in 1991. Now these games originally come out on the 8-bit computers. It's nice to see them on the 16-bit, but it's trying to get back to an age that, well, has gone really. Isn't that what retro's all about though? It was okay, it improves on the game. The gameplay is pretty much identical, but the graphics are a lot better, and it's got better sound. But I wouldn't pay full money for it, so that's why that one didn't quite make it, although it almost did. Next one was Turbo Mania on the ZX Spectrum by Jonathan Caldwell from 2005, so it was a homebrew a lot long after the Spectrum's original run. This game is brilliant, so why haven't you got it in the top 6, Nick? Well, I thought it was unfair getting a modern game in contest with those older games, but if I bunged it in, it probably would have come first or second. Brilliant game, Turbo Mania. It was in a competition, the minigame competition from 2005, when it was beaten by 4K Race, which is also awesome. If you haven't checked out that review, do so already. And the third one that didn't quite make it, although I enjoyed playing it, was a Bubble Buster by Sinclair Research in 1984. This surprised a few people when I put it up, because it's like an early version of Pang, and people thought Pang, great game Pang was, shooting bubbles, but people thought Pang was where it started, when really it was influenced on this and the arcade game Cannonball, which come before. You control a guy in green trousers who runs back and forth shooting spears, blowing up balloons, or bubbles I should say, and as soon as he shoots a bubble it goes smaller, and then you must shoot it smaller and smaller until it's gone, then it's the end of the level. Very, very tricky, this one. Start off with one bubble. Don't call them balloons, Nicky. Then you have 2, then you have 3. Before it's getting to 3, it got rather hectic, I should tell thee. Okay, so let's get to the main event. Let's get to the main event, folks. It's 6th place. Now, I've been reviewing a lot of the Monty games, starting with Wanted Monty Mole, Monty is Innocent, Of We the Same Monty, and Monty on the Run, and like. Apart from the second one, they play pretty similar. Each one's got its own special nuance. But I could have put either Wanted Monty Mole 6th or Monty on the Run. It was a bit tough, but I put Monty on the Run, published by Gremlin Graphics in 1985. Why have I put this one first? Well, Wanted Monty Mole was good. This adds an extra dimension in that you have a survival kit of 30 items and you must select 5. It just gives it an extra dynamic. But I could well put Wanted Monty Mole in because it did have some classic bits where you have to outrun a miner. I played it with a poke on to try and show you a bit of the game. It's very hard to see a kid going all the way to the end without pokes on, but I think maybe one person or 2 people in the comments or messaged me saying that they had actually completed the game. So well done, you. As a kid you need a lot of patience, but there wasn't any distractions back then, wasn't there, in 1985? There was no internet and stuff. It was just your mates knocking on the door wanting to play football or go in the park or want to borrow something off you. So that was in 6th place. In 5th place, based on the TV show, we got Battle of the Planets by Microgen in 1986, based on a rather mad kids cartoon from around about that time, which come from Japan, which was edited sympathetically to make it less violent. The game is basically trying to be 3D Starfighter or Elite, where you're in space shooting vector ships. You can land on planets and shoot a vector hovercraft, or it looked like a big iron to me. But it's nothing like the cartoon at all. It's one of those ones where I think they've just taken the license, but I don't hold that against it. It plays quite well. It's quite impressive. You must save 5 planets from Zoltaire, who was in the cartoon, I think, from ultimate destruction. I'm going to get a bit of play on that. I still prefer 3D Starfighter as my favourite space game. 3D Starfighter 2 not so much, but I think I still have that ahead of this one. But it was good, and it's a worthy 5th place. Microgen 1986. And the 4th one, which a lot of people would have in 1st place according to the comments, which is a game I wasn't overly familiar back in the day, but I've gone back to it a few times since and I can see its addictiveness, was Chaos, the Battle of Wizards by Games Workshop in 1985. Now, it doesn't look much from the screenshots first of all, but it's a game for actual 2 to 8 players. You can have AI players if no one's there, but it's more fun with human players. You control your wizard, you've got a certain amount of spells, and you must destroy all the other wizards standing in a sort of square arena. You can summon up dragons, powers, different creatures, lightning, trees to protect you, and once you use the spell, it's gone. It's a turn-based game, and by strategy and strategy alone, you must kill all the other wizards in that place. So it's nice and fun. Wizards don't get on with each other, apparently. Now, although this did come out by Games Workshop in 1985, I believe a little bit later, it did come out as a freebie on the front of a magazine as well, possibly yours, Sinclair. Does have a sequel called Lords of Chaos, which potentially I'll go to at some point, because this first game, Chaos the Battle of Wizards, was so popular. I probably might have a go of it a bit later on today. That's Chaos the Battle of the Wizards. Okay, so in 6th place was Monty on the Run by Gremlin Graphics in 1985, a cute platformer. In 5th place, a space shooter, Battle of the Planets by Microgen in 86, all of these on the ZX Spectrum. And in 4th place was Chaos the Battle of Wizards by Games Workshop in 1985, so a puzzle strategy game. So 3 very different games there. So, what's made the top 3? Well, in 3rd place, Commodore Amiga time. Commodore Amiga jumps in. It's a game I didn't really know much about at the time. It was GBA Rally by Activision in 1987. Looks quite cool on the Amiga. I believe it's also come out on the Spectrum and some other 8-bit systems, so we might come to them. But essentially, it's a time trial over 16 courses in Southern America, where you must, well, Southern USA I should say, where you control a stunt plane over a different course, and you must complete the course before the time runs out. Now, going too far off the course, outside the markers, the time goes down 4 times as quick. If the time runs out, that's it, it's the end of the game. And there's also other competitors when you fly under and over, and it does feel quite pleasing when you do overtakes. My one criticism of this game, which might have pushed it into 2nd or 1st place, is there's no actual race mode. It's all time trials. Going around a course and trying to go up the field to qualify for points in the championship would have made this game absolutely awesome, but that's not there. But don't get me wrong, this game still plays good anyway. GBA Rally, if you've got a Commodore Amiga or an emulator, try and track this one down, because I would say it's a hidden gem. We've covered quite a lot of poor or underperforming Amiga games at late, so it's good actually to bump into this one. Now, second and first says a lot about me, really, because I've said countless times before when I'm reviewing games, my favourite gaming era is the early 80s, although, admittedly, after this there was more finer games, more sophisticated games, so a lot of people might not have these two in their lists, 2 and 1. But anyway, I make no apologies. It's all about discussion and your own opinions. In second place, we got Bounce Panic by Poppysoft in 1985, based on the 1984, I should say, based on the arcade game, which is called Space Panic. On a previous roundup, I did have a game called Panic at number 1, so maybe it's not too much of a surprise I've got this so high up. Essentially, it's single screen. You must go up and down ladders, knock holes in different platforms. The aliens come down to repair the holes, and when they're doing, they're vulnerable, and you stamp on them, or bounce on them in this case, and they're dead. Not every level's the same. It does random. It's got different colours on it, which is a nice touch. And as a kid, when you've got a level that's a different colour, you do feel like you're getting somewhere. And there's different levels as well, where you're not just the normal stamping gameplay. You've got the gameplay where you're actually getting a power pill, a bit like Pac-Man, up and down ladders again. So it is strategy based. So that's Bounce Panic, 8-bit glory. I really love that. So in first place, some people like this game, some people hate this game, but for the year it come out, I'm absolutely astonished. Number 1, 3D Pac-Man on the ZX Spectrum 48K, published by Freddie Christensen in 1983. I don't think he had the Pac-Man license from Namco, but basically you go through a 3D maze. I think he's bolted the Pac-Man idea on afterwards, but you go through a 3D maze, first point perspective, collecting all the power pills, and once you've done that, you get to the next stage. Now, what's good about this game, not only does it move very fast, it's a stunner for 1983, and I am a sucker for maze games. It's just that the first level there's no ghost at all, so it can get you used to the gameplay and navigating the maze. Sometimes it gets a bit annoying when you've only got 2 pills to collect and you don't know where they are. There's a power pill as well, and then once you get past that level, then you get 1 ghost, then it progresses to 2 ghosts, and all the time there's like a scanner map. Although you can't see what the map looks like at all, the maze, you can see exactly where the ghost is, so you can try and keep away from him. I really love this game. Freddie Christensen, I don't know what else he's done, but for 1983, an absolutely superb effort. So in third place we had GBA Rally on the Commodore Amiga by Activision in 1987. Second place, Bounce Panic by Poppysoft in 1984 on the ZX Spectrum. And in glorious first place, 3D Pac-Man by Freddie Christensen in 1983. So thanks for watching the channel over the last month. It's going to change a little bit next month, but try and keep the ideas and the basis of the same and just give it more flesh out. So let me know what you think about those top 6s. Did you have a different order? Did you like one of the games that should have been in it that I haven't even mentioned? Then put your thoughts below. That's what keeps the channel alive, sharing ideas, having fun and easing stress. So thank you again, have a good week, and till next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye. Goodbye.